Hello, Eagle family, and welcome back to the Eagle Exchange. I'm your host, Chancellor Karrie G. Dixon, and before we begin, I want to wish you all a happy new year. We're excited about the opportunities ahead for NCCU, our partners, and our Eagle community. Today's episode is especially meaningful as we bring together leaders who play a critical role in shaping education here in Durham, North Carolina. Durham is the home to a powerful educational ecosystem, from K-12 education to community colleges to world-class research institutions. And when our universities and our institutions work together, the impact reaches far beyond our campuses. Today, I'm honored to be joined by Duke University President Dr. Vincent Price, Durham Technical Community College President J.B. Buxton, and Durham Public Schools Superintendent Dr. Anthony S. Thank you all for being a part of the Eagle Exchange today, and Happy New Year to you as well.
All right, Happy New Year.
Thanks for having us.
So Durham is the home of some of the most dynamic, collaborative, educational institutions in the country. So my first question is for all of you. How would each of you describe the current moment for education in Durham based on your lens?
Mm-hmm. Well, go ahead, Superintendent.
I would again, thank you so much for having us, but I would describe it as exciting for us right now. We just, in partnership with both of these institutions here, just opened our Durham Early College of Health and Science,
yes,
which was made possible by Bloomberg Grant, partnership with Duke, Durham Tech, and it pretty much set our students up for life after high school.
Right.
Get some credentials, but not only that, about 45 to 50 of them get them jobs over at Duke Health. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's an exciting time, and I appreciate the way you framed it as an ecosystem.
Yes.
You know, we depend on one another, and so it's exciting for me right now in terms of just creating more opportunities for our scholars.
Right, and as we think about our workforce and preparing our students, the pipeline is critical to start in K-12. And that impact, and you're looking at the healthcare area, and so what are some of the things that really stand out to you most as you think about the options and opportunities your students have upon graduation?
I think a couple of things stand out. One is they can clearly see, life after high school. So I take these classes, I enroll in these classes, I get these credentials, and I'm set up for a job. I often tell people that the future workforce of Durham is right in our classrooms.
That's right.
And so the fact of the matter is when do we continue to summon the will, the courage to create ecosystems like this to ensure that they thrive? A couple of buildings down, we have some scholars right here on this campus in Limit Early College Center. That's exciting. When I first moved here and learned about that we have some Durham Public Schools students on this campus that are getting college credits right here.
Yes, and they are amazing students. I've been able to meet with and talk with some of them, and it's just it just feels really good to know that we are setting a foundation for our students in Durham and even beyond when they go off to do other things to really be successful and to live out their goals and their dreams. Yeah. But what about President Price and President Buxton? What do you all?
You use the word dynamic, and I would say that word dynamic sums up the environment right now.
Yes.
In every sense of that word. So this is a moment of real opportunity. The vision for the future here in Durham is compelling and bright. At the same time, we're dealing with a lot of change. We have changes in federal policies, restrictions on federal research funding, the advent of artificial intelligence and new technologies, which will be shaping the workforce going forward and shaping what we do in the classrooms every day.
Exactly.
So, that environment is truly dynamic. And what I love about this moment here in Durham is that we have the kinds of collaborative instincts as well as the background and the teamwork to meet any challenge that comes our way. I really feel that way. And you have here educational leaders who are sitting together as part of Eagle Exchange, but who sit together all the time around a lot of different issues and collaborate effectively. So that to me is the most exciting part of this dynamic, truly dynamic environment.
Very much so. President?
You know, Chancellor, I'm the kind of person that doesn't like to order the same thing at dinner if you've already ordered it, but dynamic is exactly what I want to go with. That really captures, I think, the area we're in right now. Incredible opportunities in this region. I often tell people, if you look at community colleges in the Research Triangle, they are the best community colleges to work in the country because we have real options for our students, real opportunities that can promote opportunities for them to take care of themselves, their families, contribute to this community. So we're excited about the pathways that are open. We're excited about the partnerships. It's something in the Durham DNA that you expect to be working with each other. You don't hope to be working with each other. So it's a very dynamic environment. It also, with all those tailwinds, has some headwinds. There's less certainty than I think we ought to have right now in the environment, and I think that's both economic, that's educational. We're certainly worried about some of the federal policy impacts on our students. Medicaid would be a good example. So some of those things temper the real enthusiasm we feel about the opportunities right now, but for that reason, it's a very dynamic environment.
And I think to President Price's point as well is that we work together all the time. And I'm just really happy to be a part of such a dynamic group of leaders here in Durham. And, you know, as we think about the pipeline and preparing our students for options for higher education, you know, they start with you in the K-12, they go to the community college, finish the associate's degree. Let me put emphasis there. We want them to finish the associate's degree, then transfer to Duke or NCCU and have ample opportunity to do great things as they think about their careers and what they're going to be focused on throughout that journey. So it means a lot for us to be working together, talking with each other, strategizing, being intentional about our partnership. So I truly appreciate that from all of you. But what excites you the most about the direction our city is heading, and especially when it comes to students and their families?
You know, the thing I love about Durham is Durham is a community firmly focused on the future, looking at growth and opportunities, but Durham is also not interested in getting there any which way. They're going to have everybody come along for the ride. And it's a real value in it and an ethos. I can remember this moment. I was a football player in high school, and we would run suicides. This coach we had, he liked suicides at the end. And I can remember a team one year was the kind of team where you finish the suicides if you were in the first group, and those guys would just go off and get water. The next year we had a team that those guys would come back and cheer the rest of the people finishing theirs. That's Durham.
Right.
Durham likes to be engaged in everybody's growth. And so what I'm excited about is I think leadership across, whether you're talking county, city, school board, you, the folks sitting here with me, Chancellor, certainly you, you're not really interested in some people having opportunity in this community. Right. It's going to be all. And that's an exciting part about working in Durham.
It's also comprehensive. So we'll focus obviously on educational initiatives, initiatives built around research, but we recognize we're the largest private employer in Durham. And economic mobility is the key to Durham's future success.
Definitely.
So we're launching a new center for community engaged scholarship to tie our scholarship more effectively to community needs. And this spring we'll be launching a more systematic program where we really are thinking about among our workforce, not just our students in terms of pathways to growth and development, but thinking about how we can make those investments systematically and deploy all of our resources as an organization, as an institution. And that's really exciting, working closely with the county, with the city. There's an opportunity for partnership. You start with those signature educational partnerships, but once you have the relationships, you can go beyond them. And you can think much more comprehensively about what it means to be an anchor institution, what it means to marshal all the different parts of the institution in service of developing Durham. So that is not only exciting, I think that's very unusual to find in a community the opportunity, the realistic opportunity to move to that next level.
I think more often than not in cities across the country, governmental entities, higher institutions, K-12 institutions often operate in silos. And I think what excites me the most here about Durham is that those silo walls are down. And I think it's more collaborative. I think it's intentional as well as we think about preparing our students for their future. You know, in many instances, we don't know what their future will look like, but through our partnerships, we can begin to create pathways by working with our higher ed partners from a workforce development standpoint with our chamber, our city, our county, to prepare our students for their future. So I really think what excites me is just the intentionality around our collaboration.
I agree. Lots of excitement in the Bull City, and especially so, as you mentioned, the silos, you know, having those silos broken down and really getting to the strategy, being more intentional about what it is that we're doing and what we want to accomplish in the city of Durham. So very happy about that and our leadership. So Superintendent Lewis, from the K-12 perspective, what is one of the biggest challenges Durham Public Schools students face as they prepare for college? And where can partners like NCCU, Duke, Durham Tech make the most immediate impact?
Well, if I could maybe reframe the challenges to opportunities.
Okay.
I think there's a lot of opportunities there because we're collaborating and working together very well now, but I think there's more that we can do. And so when I think about the opportunities for our Durham Public School scholars, many of our scholars have the benefit of seeing a family member that completed college, right? And so they know how to navigate the higher ed space. That's not the case for all of our students. And now, make no mistake, we have some amazing guidance counselors, graduation coaches in our schools that are pouring into our scholars and families. But I think there's more we can do in terms of getting to our students and families earlier, as early as middle school. And there's some work that we're doing around that area. But I think when we began to do that, we began to see more students begin to enroll in higher education and then persist and complete. What I found out is that once we get them to Durham Tech, they'll finish. You know, and we create more opportunities like our early college center, or Durham Early College of Health and Science, J.D. Clement, create more opportunities like that so students and families can see a pathway where, you know, back in our day, it was just about getting a high school diploma.
Yes.
But now it's graduating with credentials, graduating with college credits. Our shared goal of 25% of our graduates leaving with credentials. And I also think there's an opportunity for more dual enrollment and concurrent enrollment. There's a difference between dual and concurrent enrollment. And so I think when we look at some of our traditional high schools, in addition to the work we're already doing with Durham Tech, what more can we do from a concurrent enrollment space?
And I also think, you know, as we think about exposure, and exposure to opportunities at our institutions, we have a responsibility, we being the higher education institutions in the Durham area, to work closely with the schools. You know, I remember during my first year, which was just, you know, a few months ago, the principal from Hillside High School came over, met with me, we sat down and talked, and he said, hey, we want to do more to help our students know the opportunities that NCCU offers. And we ended up going over and speaking with them. I went over and spoke to one of the elementary schools, and just that level of exposure really gives students a more realistic view of opportunities and what could be real for them as they think about the goals for education that they have in life. But having our students be present, you know, on the high school, middle, and elementary campuses is really important too.
Right. Absolutely. And that's exactly what it takes. And I appreciate you coming into our elementary schools so the kids can see, hey, we may hear about NCCU, but now the Chancellor.
Oh, that's right,
here
Superintendent, you were there, and you felt the energy in that room. It was Lockhart. Was it Lockhart Elementary?
I can't remember what elementary school it was,
but it was amazing. Those students were just as energized, and they loved seeing the mascot and the cheerleaders, and it makes a difference.
And it makes it real.
It does.
Yes.
Being able to see it. So for 25 years now, we've had a school days program on campus, and we bring middle school students, hundreds, and it's a full day program. But for them to meet other students, middle school students, but also be on a college campus, meet college students, spend time seeing laboratories, walking around, and having that exposure, as you say, it's critical. And we have so many resources right here in Durham to do those kinds of things. And then leveraging off of the opportunities we have, you know, the tutorial work that students on our campuses do in the schools. building on that, we have some coordinated programs. We have some joint courses where students at Duke and NCCU are studying together in a seminar, but then working in the schools.
Right.
So those are significant opportunities. They really are. And they help people see a pathway forward in actual people, which is not abstract. It's real, and it's right in front of them.
Right. And with the institutions being right here in Durham, it makes no sense that a young person in this city does not have the opportunity to be exposed and to be on one of the campuses and to really get a sense of what it's like to be in colleges. I heard a statistic years ago that students in a community that were just less than 2 miles away from the university had never stepped foot on that university. So they never really had the opportunity to visualize the opportunity that's right there in front of them other than what they saw on TV. Right. So it really is impactful. It's impactful for our youth, and we have the responsibility. Let's get them on our campuses. Let's look at, pre-college programs and other things, like you said, Vince, like other activities and programs to bring them on campus, to let them see and let them interact with our students and, really understand what those opportunities are for them.
And see what's possible.
Yeah. Did you want to add anything, President
I think
Buxton?
it's important for people to know that these aren't a bunch of ideas that we're thinking about right now. These are things we're doing that we can build
That's
on
a
top
good point.
of. I mean, you have Durham Tech students interning in facilities with you, so people looking to go into industrial maintenance and skilled
Which was
trades.
a great
And
idea.
you're doing it and bringing them over and giving that experience. We have summer programs at Duke where Duke reached out to us and said, we'd love to have some of your students participate in these Physics Plus and discipline-specific programs that give them extra. And our students are in there with Duke students in the summertime doing that work. We've got a 25% goal that I want people to know. I mean, this isn't something that we said in the back room one day. Let's see if we can get 25. This is our boards have committed to this. We want 25% of Durham Public School graduates to also graduate with some kind of credential from us.
Exactly.
And have more options when they leave. So these are things we're all committed to and are doing, and the question is just how much we want to do.
Yes.
And we have some scaffolding we can build on, to your point. I'm so excited about the early college high school program. That's great. But at the same time, there's a lot of coordination across our nursing programs, for example. We know that the career opportunities in the nursing field will be growing over time. There's so much demand, unmet demand. And we have nursing programs, and they're very different. They serve different needs and functions. Very few communities can fit them together in a way that really drives opportunity for the community. So seeing those, some of them will open up. I think around artificial intelligence, it will have a lot of disruptive impact on the labor force. But at the same time, it will unlock opportunities. And so it's our responsibility as educators together really to help figure that out and in advance, not be reactive, but be proactive in trying to build programs and structures that can help our students.
Durham Tech plays a central role in career pathways and workforce development, as you've already mentioned. What opportunities do you see in strengthening the pipeline from high school to community college to four-year institutions such as NCCU?
We did something recently that you can't see anywhere else in North Carolina, and that's we opened up the transfer pathways to be more than just a bilateral, come out of this program at Durham Tech, let's say, or biotechnology associates go into your biotechnology program. That's generally how it works. You decided to do something different with us, and you said, we want students who might not even know that the biotech field is going to be of interest to them, might be coming out of the Associates of Science, might be coming out of pharmacology, might be coming out of even your clinical research program to go into a variety of your programs. So we just kind of cut through all the usual noise and can articulate and said, we're going to carry broad pathways into biotech.
That's right.
We just started something recently, the BioWork program, which is kind of table stakes to get into biomanufacturing. We run that for residents of the Greater Triangle region. We're now running one at Southern High School. So those students will finish that BioWork certificate, take the exam upon graduation, and be able to go immediately make $45,000, $50,000, $55,000 to start in an industry that really grows their people in. So I think the more families can see the through lines, they might not know exactly what the roles are going to be that they want to occupy, but they can see that starting in DPS, coming through Durham Tech, going to you, whether they end up going to you first or they come to us while they're in high school. I mean, there are all kinds of paths.
Right.
But if they can see that through line, their personal investment in it is that much easier
Exactly.
to make.
Exactly. Definitely agree with that. And we had a great turnout at the articulation agreement signing. And it just showed the energy and the excitement behind making it easier for students to navigate a more seamless process through the art to be able to earn the bachelor's degree after completion of their associates in bio.
Well, I want to be clear. That's because your team decided you were going to do it differently.
Yes, yes.
It's a tried and true way that we do this in
Yes.
North Carolina. We got good articulation agreements and transfer. You decided to really open that spigot
Right.
and say, let's create
Right.
more opportunity, prepare more people for these opportunities.
Right.
So it's a great partnership, but we really appreciate that
Thank
Central
you.
wanted to think about it a little
Oh,
differently.
definitely, definitely.
Yeah. I think it's important, and I appreciate JB, mentioning that through line. And I think it's important also to honor and recognize that we're also removing barriers, whether it's
Yes.
financial barriers to college. And so if they can leave us with a BioWorks credential, or come to you, get the 25% get a credential, or SafeServe credential, now they can leave high school making a pretty significant wage if they need to save up to college to come to you guys. And
That's
so,
right.
yes, they see the through line, but also we're supporting families by removing barriers, those financial barriers to higher education as well.
Exactly.
Well, and here's the thing. These companies will then reimburse your education costs because they want to grow their employees. It's
That's
an
right.
incredibly competitive market.
Right.
Right, life sciences especially.
Yes.
They're just stealing from each other all the time, and the more they can get you in and then grow you is a much better
Yeah, and it's an
strategy
investment.
for them. So
Yeah.
that you can really have a company
That benefits.
invest in you in the same way the state of North Carolina does. with doing all-
Win-win.
Yeah, we have to think of a continuum. Students are students while they're preparing. Then they become employees or start their own businesses. They're out there in the world. Oftentimes they move back to school. It's fluid. Those boundaries are fluid. And we need to invest in people in all of those different capacities.
right.
So at Duke, our staff, we're looking at staff pathways to promotion. We have tuition remission programs. We have thousands of employees who themselves are going back to school, and we're paying that tuition. The average grant is something like $3,500. And then for parents of students, we have a tuition remission program that really help them send their children off to college. So it's investing in the workforce as a workforce, as well as investing in new pathways so they can grow new talents, develop as the markets change and as the skill sets required to flourish change. We have across Durham all kinds of opportunities to plug into.
Yes, and making sure education is affordable.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the piece that we want to make sure that we do as we think about educating North Carolina citizens and specifically our people right here in Durham. We want to make sure, that's opportunity
And we launched
for them.
a program in North and South Carolina for any student from a family earning $65,000 or less.
Oh,
they
that's
attend
right.
Duke free. It's not just tuition, it's room and board, it's all the wraparound expenses. And for any student who comes from a family earning $150,000 or less, they'll go to Duke tuition free.
Right.
So creating that access, bringing students in, it really is a critical part of the enterprise. And finding the resources to do that is something that we all do in different ways.
And I appreciate the partnership we have, with Duke and NCCU, though we have many, but the partnership where NCCU students take classes over at Duke, Duke students take classes over at NCCU, and it's been working out. My faculty is ranting and raving over, how well that's working out between us. And Durham Tech, I'm talking to Mr. Mayor, about the transportation piece so that our students can have some type of transportation that gets them to Durham Tech, to Duke, to NCCU as they think about taking classes at the the various institutions. But President Price, your question: Duke's research ecosystem and community partnerships are major assets for the region. How can institutions like Duke and NCCU collaborate more closely to expand opportunities in areas like STEM, healthcare, and innovation?
Yeah. So research is powerful,
Yes.
and it's one of the advantages of being in this region, because most studies demonstrate that every dollar you spend on research produces another $2 to $3 of value downstream. There are a lot of people who participate, and they're not all researchers, right? They're the support companies, the vendors, and Duke University, does more than $1 billion of research, but that translates into spending on vendors here in Durham. In a typical year, $230 million. So they're also partners. So in this moment, unfortunately, our national government has decided to pare back on research funding, so that's a challenge. But we have opportunities. We already have a lot of collaborations. We can be creative in looking for more collaborations. We can grow those. We can look for commercial partners. We have strengths in biotechnology. We have tremendous strengths here in the Triangle in quantum computing. We're national leaders in these spaces, and I know you have programs, we have a center. So coordinating across institutions and leaning into that ecosystem is an important part of what we do. We're also spinning off a lot of companies, about 15 a year. Those companies employ students who are finishing the programs from our schools. And so it's an engine, really, and we would just want to make sure that the engine is primed, that it's fueled, it's up and running. There are some headwinds, principally because of the retraction of federal dollars, but I think we have the strength to work our way through that. So I'm very, very bullish about what this region has to offer on the research front. And then the final thing I'll say is we've just launched this new Center for Community Engaged Scholarship, and what I'm most excited about is turning the lens for research and thinking about community members as partners in the research. Not as people who benefit from it or work in it, but who are actually helping think through the challenges, helping think through the design, working actively with researchers. It's a young venture. We just launched it in the past year, but I'm truly excited about that because we know that we need to address critical needs here in Durham. And who better than the community to identify those needs and work collaboratively with us.
Exactly.
So that's another thing that I think we'll see more and more of over time, and will distinguish Durham, I think, going forward.
Right. And NCCU, we're really excited to launch or have launched our strategic plan, Soaring to New Heights Vision 2030. And a lot of that, we focus under academic excellence, the partnership piece, and expanding our research and partnering more with the institutions here in North Carolina, more specifically Duke and others in the Triangle area, because we are on a journey to Research 2 status. And so when we think about that, how do we plug into, how are we more strategic, more intentional about the partnerships and being able to expose our students to the great opportunities that we offer. And being right here in the Triangle, I mean, we all, of course, can benefit from that. And as I think about students I've met on campus who have come to NCCU, the first thing that they say, I was attracted to NCCU because of the opportunities, those words, opportunities, the proximity to Research Triangle Park, the preparation I get to go off and to the career that I desire to be, and be successful. So I am just grateful that all of you are a part of this great dynamic leadership in education right here in Durham in the Bull City. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to come and have a talk with me on the Eagle Exchange. Greatly appreciated. And as we begin to wrap up this conversation, I thank you for my guests, their insights, their leadership, their commitment to student success. Here in Durham, it's all about the Bull City. Today's discussion enforces an important truth. When our institutions collaborate, our students and community become stronger. It has been evident based on what has been discussed today. And to our listeners, thank you for listening to the Eagle Exchange. We hope today's conversation inspired you to think differently about the power of partnership in education and the role each of us plays in shaping the future. Be sure to follow North Carolina Central University on all social media platforms for more episodes and stories highlighting the people and partnerships moving our Eagle community forward. I'm Chancellor Karrie G. Dixon, and this has been the Eagle Exchange. Thank you for listening. And as always, Eagle Pride, amplified. And I'll also add Bull City.
Let's go, Bull City.